Good morning. Good morning. My name is Nate Jones, and I use he, him pronouns. I have the honor of being your worship associate this morning. If you would please take a moment to put your mind, spirit, and cell phones in worship mode. There's always one. We'll wait. We welcome everyone here and online to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke, with a special welcome to those of you who are joining for the first time. We hope you'll stay after the service for coffee in the fellowship hall. Let's take a second, as we always do, to say hello to our friends online by standing up and waving. For all those who are online who wish to share your joys or concerns during the Lifeline portion of the service, please put them in the chat in the next 15 minutes. We acknowledge that our church resides on the traditional lands of the Tutelo and Monacan nations and was later farmed and developed through slave labor. We recognize and respect the ongoing connection to this land by generations of Black, Indigenous, and other people of color. May our gratitude and fellowship here echo and honor that rich history. If you'll please join me in reciting our words of welcome. Whomever you are, whomever you love, however you express your identity, whatever your situation in life, whatever your experience of the holy, as you come seeking love, your presence here is a gift. Whether you are filled with sadness or overflowing with joy, needing to be alone with yourself, or eager to engage others, all who welcome all are welcome here. And our covenant. We commit to supporting each other with respect and direct communication as we work in community to explore spiritual growth and to be a force for good in the world.
Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, meek and the bold. Ding dong, that is their song, with joyful sing, all merrily. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they found, raising the sun, o'er hill and dale, telling their tales, giving the ring while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here, ding, merry, merry, merry Christmas, with joy, merry, merry, merry Christmas. Oh, how they send dawn without end, dear joyful tone to every home. Hark how the bells, sweet silver bells, all seem to say, throw cares away. Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, meek and the bold. Ding dong, that is her song, with joyful ring, all merrily. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they sound, raising the sound, o'er hill and dale, telling their tales, gaily they ring while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here, merry, 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 merry Christmas, merry, 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 merry Christmas. All they send, dawn without end, their joyful tone to every home.
All they send, dawn without end, their joyful tone to every home.
Ding dong, ding dong.
Woo! Okay, Nate, I have to push this down when I'm talking because it's like right in the middle of my forehead. Sorry. Try and remember to put it back for you. Good morning. I'm the Reverend Jen Raffensperger. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I'm honored to serve as the minister of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke, and I'm thrilled to be with y'all this morning on this somewhat gray second Sunday of December, second Sunday of Advent. Big, busy world, and this morning I have for opening words, again, some things that landed like a gift in my, not exactly my inbox. I am doing an Advent devotional this year. This Advent devotional has been written by Kate Bowler, who is a professor of religious history at Duke University, podcaster, New York Times bestselling author, cancer survivor, mom, wife, et cetera, et cetera. But she has a little Advent thing that I'm reading every day, and this was the reading for Friday. This was the prayer. It's called A Blessing for When We Don't Know What's Ahead. Blessed are you who don't have all the right answers. You who realize that I don't know the best response and posture for now, who lean in unafraid to learn and change and be wrong along the way. Blessed are you who are being stretched and pressed and pulled by the uncertainty that surrounds us. You who are deciding to not stay the same because we are not who we were. Things have changed. We have lost things we can't get back and need to learn new ways to live here now. Blessed are you who have realized that community really does help us see the truth clearer, even if your chin has to be turned gently or forcefully toward it. Being fragile in the midst of a world of hammers takes courage. It takes courage to live here, to be wrong, here to learn something new, to choose humility and kindness and one another over being right. So here's to us, dear ones, the people who don't have it together, but who are done pretending to. It's better this way. Curious, hopeful, courageous, and becoming. Nate, if you would please light our chalice. This morning we light our chalice, an act shared in Unitarian Universalist congregations and churches around the nation and the world. We light the flame of our living tradition so that its light may live in our hearts.
Now kindle this fire of us, tears our powers, to heal and not to harm, to love and not to hate, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, O Spirit of love.
Hello, my name is Jessie. I am the Director of Lifespan Faith Development here, which means that I do all things religious education, and my pronouns are they, them. And I'm going to invite up all my young friends, and while you're coming forward, and if you just want to get closer, that's totally an option. While I'm inviting you forward, I'm going to let you know that we have a very special treat this morning. Rev Jen has a story to tell us. So I'm going to join you guys and turn over the storytelling chair to Rev Jen.
Thank you. Hi. Oh my gosh. No pressure. Hi, everybody. I begged Jessie to let me tell the story today because we're talking about magic. And I have a story to tell about my little friend here. For those of you in the back, this is a little teeny tiny stuffed orange kitten. It is actually a Christmas ornament. So do any of you have ornament traditions in your house? Yes. What are some of the ornament traditions you have, Malin? Yogurt-covered pretzels when decorating the tree, yes. Oh, well, yes, same. Did you have another one that you thought of, though? No, same family, same tradition. Okay. Two trees? Oh, awesome. So you have time to eat a lot of yogurt-covered pretzels. Brody, what's one of your traditions? Okay, so siblings finishing each other's. Watch the movie Elf, either before or after you or both. After you decorate the tree, you watch Elf. Anybody other have? Or while, or all the time, really. It's just running constantly. What's one of your traditions around ornaments? Yeah, so they pick a new ornament every year. So if you keep all those ornaments for years and years, you have a lot of ornaments for your tree, right? So that's actually a really good one that goes into where this ornament came from. So when I was a kid, my parents had every year, our tradition was that we had a tree trimming party. Now, this was a tradition because my father's family did it when he was a kid, and what we did was, the idea was, my parents weren't very social, so they had one big thing and they didn't have to go to anything else. They hosted a party so they didn't have to go to them. And it was a tree trimming party because we invited everybody who came to our party to bring an ornament for our tree so that they wouldn't pile on with the food and the booze. Well, they kind of did both. But the idea was that we would have not just one new ornament a year, but a lot of new ornaments a year. As you can imagine, the number of ornaments that we had was astronomical. It was way more than we could fit, even on a big tree, and we never had a tree this big. So when my father retired, we decided to stop doing the party. It was a lot of work, and they were done, and we had enough Christmas ornaments to last for a really long time, even though every year some broke or didn't work anymore. We got rid of them. Right, like 8 lifetimes of ornaments. We had so many ornaments. So one year after my dad retired, my family got together and got down the boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of ornaments in our attic. And my brother and his family and I and my parents all picked our very favorites to keep, and we let the rest go. I think we gave them to Goodwill or to someplace so that maybe they could bring joy to somebody else's tree, right? This is a lot of ornaments, right? And so this is one of the ones that I kept. So this little cat ornament is from 1988. I know that because it says on the tag. This was a McDonald's Happy Meal toy. In 1988, it was a tie-in with the Disney movie Oliver and Company. Who's seen Oliver and Company? I haven't. I just really liked the cat toy. Somebody brought it. I was like, oh, it's a kitty. I love cats. So, and when this toy was new, when this ornament was new, it had a little chip inside it. And when you pressed it, it would play beep jingle bells, like opening one of those birthday cards that has a chip inside it, except it was pre-technology being what it was. So it wasn't like a recording of a song. It was like literally beep, 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 beep. Very festive. So, and it was old, right? Even by the time my dad retired in the early 2000s, this ornament was already old. It was from 1988. So when we were all divvying up the ornaments, I said, oh, remember when this used to play a song? And I pressed it. And it went, I mean, it didn't stop going, yes.
That would be a great way to.
It's a great way. In fact, you're right, Calder. You're right. It annoyed us all night. I had to go bury it inside my hat, in my winter hat, inside my winter coat over on the coat tree to muffle it while we all ate dinner together. And I kept checking on it, and sure enough, 3 hours later, and I took it home with me because it was an ornament I said I wanted. And I took it home with me, and I put it in my sock drawer. I had to close it in one of my drawers when I got home because I had cats that would have eaten it alive. Also, it would have driven me mad. It would have driven me mad. And cats don't eat cats, but they like little toys. Doesn't that look like it could be like a little catnip toy? Yeah, so I didn't want my cats to destroy it, even though I was a little mad at it myself. And I check on it every couple of days. It was in my drawer for about 5 days. And finally, it was quiet. And I hung it on my tree. And then I, being a person of habit and tradition, was starting to have my own tree trimming parties with my friends. And so I had friends over, and this wasn't the same year because this was the year I hung it on the tree. The next year, I put this away, and I had friends over the next year, a year after it had buzzed for a solid week. And I told everybody this story, like I've told you now. And they said, you're going to press it again, aren't you? And I said, yup. And I squished it, and it played jingle bells one time. and stopped, and it has never, ever, ever beeped since. That's it. I mean, that's the story of this little ornament who will live on my tree forever, because every once in a while, strange little things happen in our lives that are maybe just a little bit magical, which is kind of what we're going to be talking about today. So, at least down here. I'm going to throw it back over to Jesse for y'all to do what's next. But thank you for listening to my story of Oliver. Oh, everyone's going to go to class. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to sing.
Our reading this morning is an excerpt from The Velveteen Rabbit by Marjorie Williams. "What is real?" asked the rabbit one day when they were lying side by side near the nursery fender before Nana came to tidy up the room. "Does it mean having things that buzz inside you and a stick-out handle?" "Real isn't how you're made," said the skin horse. "It's a thing that happens to you. When a child loves you for a long, long time, not just to play with, but really loves you, then you become real." "Does it hurt?" asked the rabbit. "Sometimes," said the skin horse, who was always truthful. "When you're real, you don't mind being hurt." "Does it happen all at once, like being wound up?" he asked, "or bit by bit?" "It doesn't happen all at once," said the skin horse. "You become. It takes a long time. That's why it doesn't happen often to people who break easily or have sharp edges, or who have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been loved off, and your eyes drop out, and you get loose in the joints and very shabby. But these things don't matter at all, because once you're real, you can't be ugly. Except to people who don't understand."
I wouldn't say Oliver is real. He only comes out once a year, but I can't imagine Christmas without him. Okay, real talk. Most of the kids are out of the room. Who here believes in magic? It's okay if you don't. That's fine. We all have different ways of being in the world, of understanding the things that happen to us, the way we make meaning out of the mess that it sometimes feels as though life is serving up for us, or the gentler task of making meaning out of the abundance and gifts our lives appear to be presenting us with. So this is a time of year that we talk a lot about magic, culturally and spiritually. It's in our entertainment, even in popular Christmas tunes. I'm not singing for you today. I'm getting over a cold, but there must have been some magic in that old silk hat they found, right? There's magical stories in many faith and cultural traditions at this time of year. At Christmas, we have the birth of Jesus, which the virgin birth as part of the story, magical if it happened. They also have the star that led the way for the wise men to find the Christ child, and the dream that they had to not go back the way they came. In Hanukkah, the stories around Hanukkah, there is the magic of the oil in the lamps in the temple. There was only enough oil that was supposed to last for a night, and it lasted for 8. Magic. The winter solstice has so many stories and magical tales around this time of year when the light is leaving the day and is becoming to the longest night of the year, which this year we will celebrate on December 21st. You might have heard Celtic tales of the Oak King and the Holly King, who are fighting for dominance as the wheel of the year turns. And at the winter solstice, The Holly King, who rules over the darkness and the night, his time starts to end because the night is at its longest, and then begins the rise of the Oak King, and he grows in strength. And of course, as I already alluded to, we have secular stories that we tell at this time of year. The magic hat that brings Frosty the Snowman to life. The very idea of Santa Claus being able to fit down chimneys and figure out the challenges of modern apartment living in homes that do not have chimneys. What do we do without fireplaces? It's magic. It's magic when your ancient ornament beeps out a disoriented jingle bells one last time. I do press it every year, giving it a chance to wake up after 36 years? Oh. But there are other kinds of magic too. What are some times that you have felt or experienced something magical? And this is like with the kids. I want you to shout it out. I'll repeat it so people can hear it since you're not mic'd. What are some times that you've experienced something that felt magical? Birth of your son. Same. First Eucharist, a magical time for a young child of faith. Absolutely. Anybody else? Something that felt magical? It doesn't have to be that life-changing. I'm like, it can be like I found a puppy and it was really cute. Cataract surgery. Sourdough starters are kind of magical, right? We can just make bread out of stuff in the air. Seeing a comet. An amazing sunset, right? There's these magical things all the time. Now, does anyone here, we are a Unitarian Universalist church after all, where we have people from many faith backgrounds. Does anyone here practice magic? Is that a part of your spiritual practice? Mm-hmm. It is for many people, for people in pagan communities, inner-centered communities, and Wiccan communities. We absolutely have people who are doing magic, sometimes with spells, sometimes with ritual items, sometimes with specific kinds of stones. Magic is a part of a lot of people's lives, and I'm glad for all the examples that you shared for me. So much like the little beeping chip inside Oliver here, I know there are possibly, and maybe even probably, other explanations for magical moments in our lives, or multiple explanations for magical moments in our lives. And ultimately, I suppose it's up to us to decide what we are to make of magical moments. We know about the way batteries work with chemicals inside them and the fact that it might have gotten warm enough to have one last hurrah. We know there are biological truths within both sourdough starters and birth, and that doesn't make them any less magical. Does it hurt? Asked the rabbit. Sometimes, said the skin horse, for he was always truthful. When you are real, you don't mind being hurt. Does it happen all at once, like being wound up, he asked, or bit by bit? It doesn't happen all at once, said the skin horse. You become. It takes a long time. That's why it doesn't happen often to people who break easily or have sharp edges or have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been loved off and your eyes drop out and you get loose in your joints and very shabby. But these things don't matter at all, because once you are real, you can't be ugly except to people who don't understand. Now, I'm going to tell you a couple of things. One, when I knew I wanted a reading from the Velveteen Rabbit, I Googled it because it was not a personal sacred text for me. I have read it. It's not something that was a formational thing that I read when I was a child. It's a beautiful story. But I went to Google it, and it's a popular secular wedding reading. I'm like, well, honey, I'm going to love you until your fur falls off and your eyes fall out. But kind of works, right? There's a certain magic that happens and transforms us over time when we love anything, anyone, for a long time. And there's a wonderful, and the Velveteen Rabbit, I think, is probably familiar, at least to most of us. Hands up if you're at least familiar with the idea. Okay. Velveteen Rabbit's pretty familiar. The rabbit is a beloved toy that is a neglected toy who gets sad and then becomes beloved. And then the child who owns the rabbit gets scarlet fever. And after the child recovers, all of his blankets and toys and bedding must be burned. But he loved the rabbit so much that a fairy comes and turns him into a real rabbit that runs around in the forest. It's a beautiful story. And it's full of it's the special kind of magic that many of us feel close to when we're young. The idea that the force of love can work miracles. Miracles? Magic? What are we doing here in this beautiful Sunday morning in the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke talking about miracles and magic? If I was wearing pearls, I would clutch them. But friends, please stay with me. We are a faith that unashamedly puts love at the center of our shared values and proclaims love as the force for good in the world. When we work with love centered in our hearts and in our communities, we stretch ourselves. We consider ideas that might not be comfortable to us. Blessed are you who don't have all the right answers. You who realize that I don't know the best response and posture for now, who lean in unafraid to learn and change and be wrong along the way. So a friend of mine actually brought me Kate Bowler's Advent devotional that I just read from, and I'm so glad that she did. There's a daily ritual of lighting a candle that I remember so well from my own childhood in the Catholic Church that I needed to update to give me a centering moment in my life now that so much has changed and is changing. For many years, I didn't celebrate Advent, the season of patience, of waiting, of hoping for the light to return to the world. What I needed to do to celebrate Advent in a genuine way for myself was to put love back into the center of it. This is our work, after all. We who have arrived at this Unitarian Universalist church after perhaps many years away from the religion of our youth. We who have felt harm, perhaps in other churches. Perhaps those of us who were raised without religion at all, or those of us who were raised within UU churches and have witnessed the changes that have happened in Unitarian Universalism across time. We come here seeking something, but it isn't easy answers. We are very upfront about not having those, and if you are new here, if this is your first time watching and listening to us online or here, we don't have easy answers. If that is what you are looking for, please stay for coffee. Please hang out and see what we're about anyway, but easy answers are not our stock and trade. There is a call within our hearts to seek justice in the world. We see suffering, we experience suffering, and we wonder how we could reduce the sum total of suffering in the world. We see war and anguish and strife. We see the plague of gun violence affecting so many communities in our nation. Our community is not immune to this. We see the echoes of colonialist impulses that extracted resources from our precious earth, that turned human beings into simply another resource to be exploited. What on earth is the way through this? What meaning are we to make of it? Where in this world is the magic? Where is the miracle? You have named them already. You have named them and 1,000 more besides in your hearts that you didn't speak aloud. The moment you saw your beloved for the first time before you loved their fur off and their eyes fell out. When your dear friend held on to life and died only after their most geographically distant child was finally able to travel to be at the bedside. When your child was born, when your child took their first steps, when you first witnessed the sprawl of the Milky Way above your head, or first looked into a microscope to understand how little we understand, about the vastness of life and of our world. The word miracle is derived from a Proto-Indo-European root that means to smile or to laugh, and a Latin word that means wonderful, astonishing, amazing. It wasn't until the 12th century that the word took on the meaning a wondrous work of God. Etymology Online, my favorite website in the entire world, even notes that Miracle Whip, first produced by Kraft Foods in 1933, took its name from the patented machine that produced it. Thank you, Etymology Online. Wonderful indeed. Amazing. Astonishing. This world, this incredible, painful, miraculous, suffering world. Our task in this season of miracles, in this time of magic, is to be ready. To be ready for the unexpected. To be ready to learn. To be ready to be wrong. To be ready to have our minds and hearts opened to all that we cannot explain, cannot contain, cannot justify, cannot imagine. It takes real courage and real vulnerability to take the responsibility of making our own meaning in the world and choosing to turn it towards the good of others, towards the good of all. If you're responsible for making the meaning in your life, if we don't tell you what sacred text to have, you can make meaning that says, I'm going to just get what's mine and go. You can ignore injustice if you want. That's your right. That's free will. But to take up the challenge of needing to make our own meaning in this world and to still choose to put love at the center, to put justice in our hearts, to know that's what love looks like in public, it's a powerful, dare I say miraculous, choice. Being fragile in the midst of a world of hammers takes courage. It takes courage to live here, to be wrong, here to learn something new, to choose humility and kindness and one another over being right. So here's to us, dear ones, the people who don't have it together, but who are done pretending to. It's better this way. Curious, hopeful, courageous, and becoming. If you're ever unsure how to choose, what meaning to make, place love at the center of your heart. Ask how you can grow it even the tiniest bit more with each action every day. Loving makes the Velveteen Rabbit become real. The miracle of our loving the hell out of this world can bring about the kind of heaven that our Universalist ancestors dreamed of and knew a loving God would not deny us. A world where all are secure, fed, housed, loved, safe. May we remain ever curious, hopeful, and courageous. And may our becoming be beautiful. So may it be. We've come now to that time in our service each week we turn and invite your generosity. The work of putting love at the center of our work in the world and the work of this church is only possible with your generosity. The ushers will now gladly receive the offering. Thank you. That is one of my absolute favorites. Thank you for your generosity. I usually put it under there.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Linda Wood, here representing the Caring Committee this morning. One of the things that we do is bring your joys and concerns to the attention of the congregation on Sunday mornings. And there are quite a few things to report this morning. If you have anything that you would like to share with everybody, you're always welcome to call the church office or tell somebody on the Caring Committee or write it in the altar, in the book that's on the altar in the mornings. So into this sacred space, we bring quite a few concerns. Bonnie and Richard Evans lost their 22-year-old cat, Sunny, and while they were out of the country. They had had him 18 years, and he lived to 22. Please rescue, don't purchase. Jimbo Harshfield has a sad note to tell us. He says, I lost my sister to COVID yesterday. Please keep her family in your thoughts. Kay Brochart is in the rehab unit at Richfield Living in Salem. She's working on balance and stability issues after a fall. Jane Harrison visited Tim Andriano at Carilion yesterday and reported that he looks good, but he's still facing another surgery this coming week to put the rod back in his leg. So we all hope that everything will turn out well. So, for a joy, Carla Mayhew is so grateful and happy to report that she is celebrating the 38th anniversary of her 29th birthday today. Happy birthday, Carla. And I have a joy that's kind of for everybody. Last Sunday, I was in Richmond visiting my family for Thanksgiving, and I went to Anna's church, the First UU Church of Richmond. And I understand from Michael that she was here in town last night. Maybe some of you saw her, but last Sunday she said to tell everybody that she was sending them a great big hug. So that's a joy from Anna. If you have something in your heart that you would like to express by lighting a candle this morning, please come forward, and may the warmth of that candle bring you some peace. May our prayers be heard and our hearts be restored.
Thank you, Linda. I was saying, don't forget your glasses. And as usual, I'm going to light one last candle for everybody who is watching on YouTube. We know that you cannot be here to light one in person, so we will light this one, let it stand for the prayers, thoughts, and intentions that reside within your own heart this morning. If you would join me in a spirit of prayer and meditation, reflection, make yourself comfortable in your seat. Close your eyes if that is comfortable for you, or perhaps soften your gaze. God of many names and whom is beyond naming, that love in the center of our being, that thing that we work for that is larger than us all, grant us peace in this time. We mean that on every possible scale, peace within the hearts of each person, peace within communities, peace within families, peace between and among nations whose lines are human inventions, forgetting that we are all people together. For every miraculous thing that has entered your life, for every joy unspoken, for every sorrow too big or small for you to name yet. Tend that in your heart. Feel the love and support of this community, the love that is supporting us always. When you are ready and want to share, we will be here. If tending it in your heart is all that is needed, may you be well and tend it faithfully. Take up a moment of peace and build it in your heart so that you can work for peace within the world. So may it be.
And now, as we draw close to the end of our time together in worship this week, we turn our attention from within our own community and their joys and concerns, and we prepare to engage the world in the week ahead. We'll begin with a few announcements. First, we want to thank you for your generosity with all of the various collections we are hosting during the holiday season. Today is the deadline for coats for the West End Center youth and the care packages for unhoused students at Patrick Henry High School. Please plan to stay after the service today if you can to help put those care packages together. And of course, since you're planning to stay after service today to help out, please check out our Reading Seeds book fair. Help support this important ministry and find some books for the young folks in your lives. They will have several new titles since last time. Speaking of books, next Sunday, December 15th, during the coffee hour, the library committee is sponsoring a book fair immediately after the service in the fellowship hall. This is a fundraiser to support our UU library. It's a great opportunity to pick up a book for yourself as a gift, to buy a book for the library, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and or donate cash to the library fund. It will feature select titles from the UUA's In Spirit bookstore, and 40% of the sales will go to the UUCR Library Fund, which will allow us to continue stocking our shelves with new works. More announcements can be found in our weekly email newsletter. If you are not receiving the newsletter and would like to, please contact admin@uuroanoke.org. Thank you.
And Nate, I will now invite you to extinguish our chalice. Again, a shared moment with Unitarian Universalist churches and congregations across the country and the world. Though the light within this chalice in our sanctuary goes out, we hope you allow that light and flame of our faith to reside within your heart as you prepare for the week ahead.
We have a bit, I'll just talk about it. We have a bit of lighthearted fun for you for the end. And some of you may have seen this before. We've updated it just a bit, just a tiny bit. Ready?
Deck the halls with boughs of holly, la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, la 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 la. Stroll
Oh, I see, Carrie, why you want to put the benediction after the choir, so I have to follow this. Fine. Friends, the Pope this week came out and told priests the world over that they should be keeping their sermons to 10 minutes. Not being Catholic anymore, but having been raised Catholic, I'm like, what? It's supposed to be like 5 tops. What are you talking about? I'm delighted that our celebration is ending a little short today so that you can go have fellowship and look at those books and see all the amazing generosity that has come out of this congregation, help put things together. We had to double the number of care packages for unhoused students at Patrick Henry this year. There is a need, and it is terrible that we have to do it and amazing that we did it. So thank you for everything you've brought in. We'll be going over all the donations this week. Thank you, thank you. Oliver is still silent. But please go forth into the week ready and open to the possibility of being wrong and finding magic in the small things. So may it be. Somebody take this money. It feels really weird that it's just sitting here. Where does the money go when there's decorations and stuff under there? I guess. Yeah, that's because this seems cheesy, but I was like not sure where to put it, so. Yeah. Yeah, but I feel like I'm gonna knock stuff over. I could also just stick it under.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays from John and Pam and Scott and Katie and the deer and the bluebirds. And we're wishing you world peace and blessings in the new year.
I'm really going to miss you this holiday, especially the music and the laughter. Well, maybe I won't miss all those toy helicopters landing in my soup. Love you.
Habregane, which is how are you in Swahili. Shag Uram Samit, which is happy holidays in Hebrew.
Happy solstice, Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays!
Christmas, everybody!
Merry Christmas from Fortnite Academy.
Hey, this is
Hey, everybody.
We are My name's James.
Happy holidays. Peace on earth from your board.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays and a COVID-free new year.
Yes, be safe.
Amen.
We look forward to having you for next year.
Till next time.
This one might not make it in, but it'll make it in for something. It'll show up somewhere.
Till next time.
Does that count as magic, Jesse?
I think it counts as magic. I just got us having that conversation, so I might send that to her too.
World peace and blessings in the new year. Give me those damn apples. Merry Christmas, happy holidays from John and Pam and Scott and Katie and the deer and the bluebirds. And we're wishing you world peace and blessings in the new year.
I'm really going to miss you this holiday, especially the music and the laughter. Well, maybe I won't miss all those toy helicopters landing in my soup. Love you.
Habregane, which is how are you in Swahili. Shag Uram Samich, which is happy holidays in Hebrew.
Happy solstice, Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays!